Today we're going to be talking about what to do if you find your ex on a dating website. And I thought probably the most interesting way to tackle this subject was, instead of me just doing a traditional video where I list out the dating apps that people tend to use and tell you exactly step by step what you should be doing, I thought it'd be a lot more instructive to go to my private Facebook support group and ask the people there what some of the burning questions they had were with regards to finding an ex on a dating app, or in some cases, an ex finding you on a dating app. So what we're gonna do for the first time ever on this YouTube channel is I'm gonna come into this video unprepared. Basically, I am going to come with the questions that I wrote down. I didn't plan what I'm going to say at all, and I just wanted to give you my honest advice or feedback so that you can see that I'm really as cool as I say I am. Not really. I cut that. So immediately, one of the first things that struck me was the types of dating apps that were most popular among the people that buy the Ex Recovery program. In all, there were 3 really popular dating apps that people tend to use more than anything. And those dating apps were Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble. Bumble didn't shock me at all. A vast majority of our clients are female, and Bumble is made for females specifically. The women get to choose the matches and everything like that. But Hinge and Tinder kind of shocked me. I think Tinder gets kind of this interesting rap as the hookup app. A lot of people think that, but research has said that's not exactly true. Online dating is responsible for how 1 in 3 couples end up finding each other, and it has no indication of how successful that relationship can be. So let's put all that stuff to the side and just start listing rapid fire questions with regards to how to handle exes on dating apps. Hey there, real quick, I want to say that if you're new to this YouTube channel, or you're trying to figure out what you should be doing to get your ex back, and you're trying to learn if you even have a chance in your specific circumstance, probably the smartest thing for you to do is actually stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz that can be found at exboyfriendrecovery.com. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, taking that free quiz is super easy to do. All you have to simply do is look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will take you directly to the quiz where you can fill it out and get an easy answer on what you should be doing going forward, and overall what your chances look like in your specific situation. So again, if you haven't taken the quiz and you're interested in taking this free, simple 2-minute quiz, simply look in the description link below the YouTube video and click on the link you see there. All right, so let's get you back to the video. All right, so the first question was, what does it mean when he logs off when you log in? So at first glance, this seems pretty obvious. To me, when a guy logs off the second you log into your dating app, it just means he doesn't want you to see what he's up to, which is kind of ironic because the fact that you're logging off when she's logging in is a pretty big indicator that, yeah, you're on the dating app and you're active. I think this is more of a knee-jerk, embarrassed reaction more than anything. What does it mean when he's viewing your profile daily? So I actually just chalk this up to a lot of the habits we see from breakups with regards to social media in general. We know there's a very high likelihood of an ex spying on your Facebook. In fact, there's a 90% chance that they're going to be Facebook stalking you after the breakup. Now, with the advent of Instagram and even dating apps, it's become even more of an addiction. And I think the dating app aspect can move that to another level because of the intent involved in signing up for a dating app. You would think that an ex who's viewing your profile daily is looking to see if your profile is being taken down, or if you're updating your profile to make it appear like you're trying to find someone to replace them. So I think it's that knee-jerk obsessive quality that's making an ex view your profile daily. How do you approach an ex if they would deny or lie about being on a dating website? This is actually kind of a tough one. So My initial reaction when I first read this, I'm not going to lie to you, was like, oh, just call them out. But I don't think calling them out is going to get the desired result that you want. Ultimately, I think you need to find a way to play it down. So I'll tell you a story that this really happened. I'm totally going to embarrass this kid. But basically, one of my friends mentioned that they had an experience intimately with someone, and it struck me as kind of odd. And so I sat and let it just linger there for a moment. So they basically said like, yeah, I lost my virginity at age 20, right? And so instead of saying like, oh, cool, and just taking it at face value, something struck me as odd because I knew that they were lying because he was probably embarrassed about the fact that he still hadn't lost his virginity. So one of the things that I did was, instead of calling him out in a rude way, I called him out in kind of a joking way. I basically laughed at him and said, dude, no, you didn't, like that. And then he kind of folded and said, yeah, you're right. So I think that is probably the best way to approach an ex lying about being on a dating app. They're lying because they feel like they're getting caught doing something they shouldn't do. So what you can do to kind of alleviate that stress is make it okay. Be like, yeah, you are. I totally saw you. And this can be a little hard to do over text, so you have to find the right words to kind of convey that joking type of a manner, but I think that's the best way to go. What do you say if he mentions he saw you on there? Well, if he saw you on there, there's no use in denying it, but there's also no use in you feeling shame for it. In fact, one of the more interesting recommendations that we tend to recommend during a no contact rule is for you to go on a dating app. Now, this does a lot of different things. Sometimes it can help you move on by realizing, hey, I'm not as hung up on my ex as I thought I was. Another time it can, just by going on Tinder, for example, and seeing how many people swipe right for you, is kind of a confidence booster because you're so tunnel vision focused on this one person. Having all these other people tell you you're awesome, it's kind of an ego boost and can help us get through that no contact rule, realizing that you have other prospects out there, not just this one person. And of course, that's the other big reason for why you would want to go on a dating app or sign up for Tinder or Hinge or Bumble or something like that. You can potentially find someone that could be better than your ex. Now, most people watching this are probably not going to want to use dating apps for that, but it can be a tool. So there's no use denying, because technically speaking, if they get upset over the fact that they broke up with you, well, they have no moral high ground to stand on. What does it mean if he's still active on Tinder but having really great positive interactions with you? Now things are getting interesting. This is a really interesting question. Okay, so basically, to set it up, your ex is still active on whatever dating app or website he's using, but he's also really active in talking with you. The first thing I would say is this a red flag? Do they have a history of cheating or being a quote unquote player? If that's the case, then this is totally on brand for them to do. If it's not the case, then what's more likely to happen is they're still not 100% convinced that you're the one for them, but they've gone on the dating app and they've realized no one compares to you. That's my initial reaction. Now, does that mean that's the truth? No, it's just my gut check reaction. Why does he activate his account for a while and then deactivate it only to reactivate it? All right, so I'm actually in the process of rewriting right now our entire sort of program free article. There's like this 10,000 word article. It was like the very first article I wrote when I created Ex-Boyfriend Recovery, called How to Get Your Ex-Boyfriend Back. Well, it's really outdated. It needs to get updated, and I'm already like 12,000 words into the new content on it. So it's gonna be a beast. But one of the things I just talked about was the anatomy of a breakup. Basically, all the chemicals that are getting released and what happens to your cortisol levels when you go through a breakup. Here's the one interesting thing. One of the most common signs of going through a breakup is mood swings. And someone activating, then deactivating, then reactivating seems to be having a lot of trouble determining what they want to do, and that kind of fits in line with that mood swing pendulum that you're always hearing me talk about. Why is he deactivating all social media, like Facebook or Instagram, after the breakup, but keeping dating apps active? Okay, let's go with the more sinister answer, because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Here's the sinister answer. Your ex does not want you to see what they are up to. So what they're doing is sort of deactivating all of their ways in which you could see something's amiss, but obviously they want to continue their dating apps. So that's kind of the first note I have, meaning they don't want to hurt your feelings because they don't think you can handle the truth of them being on a dating app. And for the record, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with your ex being on a dating app. In many cases, it can help your case because you're gonna be the biggest thing that's on their mind after a breakup, meaning they're gonna be comparing everyone they meet to you. And while it may have ended bad, the fact that they're thinking about you constantly while they're talking to this other person or trying to date this other person is eye-opening for them. How do you remain calm when you notice your ex on a dating website? All right. Remaining calm when you notice your ex on a dating website is difficult. Here's the important thing I think that I'm going to be able to help you with, and that's the fact that you need to find a priority in your life that's bigger than your ex, and that's a tall order. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times you have tunnel vision when you are trying to get an ex back. It hurts really badly when they're on a dating app and you're not. It feels like a betrayal of the relationship, almost like they're cheating on you. The truth is, it's not. The two of you are broken up. You can go on a dating app just like he can go on a dating app. There's no rules, kind of no social customs combining the two of you together anymore. Here's the thing though. If you want to find a way to remain calm after the breakup, you need to have two things. Number one is something that I think is a bigger priority than him. So I often talk about this as the magnum opus idea. What do you want to be remembered for at the end of your life? Surely it's not this relationship with your ex. Find that thing and then focus your time on that thing. And the second thing is you're probably an anxious attachment style. So you're gonna wanna try to move some of the anxious attachment style tendencies to a secure attachment style tendency. Probably the best book I've ever seen in helping people get emotional control is a book called Calming the Emotional Storm. Check it out. Does having him go on a dating website mean he's moved on? No, that's not what it means at all. What it means is he is interested in trying to find a way to fill the void. He's interested in trying to move on, but trying to move on isn't the same as moving on. So a lot of times your worry and stress is a little misplaced. Here's an interesting one. Do you swipe right or left on your ex during the meetup phase? All right, if you're familiar with our program, we have kind of something called the value ladder and the value chain. Basically, we have all these different methods of communication that you need to have with your ex before you enter into the meetup phase. So assuming you follow those things correctly, this tactic should work out. You should absolutely swipe right if you're in the meetup phase. It can be a kind of a fun, playful inside joke between the two of you, and it can be a subtle test on your part to see just how serious they are about you. What is your ex thinking if they see you on a dating app? Honestly, I think they're thinking the exact same thing you are, just a little bit less. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of the time we're dealing with people who've been broken up with. That does matter a little bit in their mindset. Not a ton, but it does help us understand which person thought they could do better than the other person. But I still think, and we've seen this time and time again, exes who see you on dating apps don't like it. That means a bunch of things, but probably the best way to figure out what it means is looking inward and trying to sort of hold a mirror up and see, well, how am I feeling about it? Now, their attachment style is probably going to dictate how they react to it. And that's an important distinction because a lot of times we find our clients are anxious or they're attracted to avoidance. And what are avoiders going to do when they see you on a dating website? You're going to avoid the thing altogether. So a lot of times our anxious people are like, well, he's not freaking out like I am. The truth is, it's apples and oranges. He's going to react differently to that type of a news than you are. All right, I want to thank you for getting to the end of this video. Hopefully you learned a lot about how to handle seeing your ex on a dating app or dating website. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you take that Ex Recovery Chances quiz that I talked about at the beginning of this video. It's pretty simple. All you gotta do is simply look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will give you an idea of what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. Also, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to our YouTube channel. Every little bit helps. I'll see you next time.